Radio 1.
In new music we trust.
Trust Radio 1 to bring you the best new music from across the UK and from around the world.
Trust us to be your guide to everything you need to know about music. In new music we trust.
In new music we trust on BBC Radio 1.
Radio 1. Now.
Welcome to the future.
Future thinking, forward music from the electronic side.
Awakening your ears with the best of electronic music.
The future sound.
I give nobody the right to water down our song.
Hobbs on Radio 1.
So you know say you are Radio 1 goddess. Whoa!
Finest in the electronic underground.
Wednesday night into Thursday morning.
2 to 4 a.m.
The future sound of electronic music.
First off, I want to thank you for listening. Enjoy.
3, 2, 1.
The show contains bad language and extreme content. If you don't like that, turn off now.
Tonight with the LA-based Low End Theory residents the eccentric, the magical DJ Nobody. Very first taster of his brand new album, One for All, Without Hesitation. It's dropping on the Alpha Pop label, March, April time. And this boy, well, he's giving away 10 songs for free. Check www.djnobody.net for all the details.
This is BBC Radio 1, and you're listening to the real Queen of England, Miss Marianne Hobbs.
So 81199, that's the number if you want to get involved tonight on the text. Or of course you can jump online, twitter.com/Marianne Hobbs. This one brand new and exclusive to us tonight from Dan up at the Domino Camp. You'll have heard a snatch of it in Moscow's sensational mix for us just a couple of weeks ago on the show. This is the brand new single from Fortet. It's titled Sing. It's due to drop on the 15th of March. And this is the Moscow retake. Absolutely fierce. So it's Marianne Hobbs. This is BBC Radio 1. The future sound of electronic music all the way live till 4 o'clock this morning. And of course, you can boot us up anytime you like. We're online all week at bbc.co.uk/Radio 1. coming up tonight. Incredible sets from Cooly G and from Ganja Sufi, mixed by the Gaslamp Killer. Plus the very first play of the brand new album from Orteka. And of course tonight, I am announcing details of my Sonar Festival stage for 2010. The wait is over, and I promise it's been worth every agonising moment. Big shout out to Friend in Bristol, to Johnny in Suffolk. Big up the Rubber Factory Massive down in Cornwall. And Phil, who's listening in the library at Oxford University. Coming next tonight, something truly unique and absolutely submersive from Los Angeles. Asura. This is the very first release for the Non-Projects label. Big shout out to Brian Simon for hooking me up with it. Azura. Her Tearing is the title of this one. And if you like the sound of this, you can hear him mixing on our show on the 7th of April.
BBC Radio 1 Experimental.
And next, out to Bulgaria. Sound of 1,000 Names on BBC Radio 1 Experimental. The track is titled Talking to the Postman Before Leaving. And it's lifted from the brand new album Illuminated Man, which you can find on the Black Acre label this season. You'll have heard this two-piece mixing in the last couple of months on the show. They put together an absolutely exquisite piece for us. And you can hit them direct at myspace.com/1000 names. That's 1000 as in the number. And then just names straight up. So as I say, 81199, that's the number if you want to get involved on the text tonight. Or of course, jump online, hit us direct at twitter.com/Marianne Hobbs. And this tune, you know what? All thanks to Twitter that I managed to track down the artist. We played it last week, unknown, untitled, absolutely devastating piece of work. But you know, asked a few of the right questions online as you do. And we now have an artist, Tomohiko Sage. And a track titled Rebar Cutter. This one lifted from the EP Drop Dead on the Rod Cons label. Tomohiko Sage, Rebar Cutter. Check it on the new EP Drop Dead. Find that on the Rod Cons label.
Sonar 2010.
So here we go, are you ready for this? I'm so excited, I'm not kidding you, my heart is about to explode. We are back at Sonar Festival for our 4th successive year in 2010, and I know there has been just so much anticipation about the lineup. Pete Tong will announce the complete festival bill on Friday at 9 o'clock on BBC Radio 1, but in the meantime, this is how my stage will roll out. Marianne Hobbs presents at Sonar in 2010, and it's all about firsts. Ready? Okay. I played him first on BBC Radio 1, and I had so much early belief in him. I knew he was right for my stage, and thus he became the very first artist to be confirmed to play anywhere at Sonar in 2010. He is, of course, the mighty Joy Orbison. See what it is. I wouldn't dream of playing at Sonar Festival without this boy. Joy Orbison with me in 2010. This track is titled J-Do. His very first release for his own label, Doldrums Recordings. Check him. myspace.com/Joy Orbison.
Sonar 2010.
Rosca. Had to be done, you know. This boy is going to be standing shoulder to shoulder with me at Sonar 2010. Dazzling DJ producer marching right at the very forefront of the UK funky scene. And he is the first funky artist ever to be booked to play Sonar Festival.
Rosca.
Rosca tearing up Sonar Festival with me in 2010. This tune lifted from his debut album, self-titled, dropping in April time on the Rinse label. Tomorrow is Today is the title. And if you like this, you will be delighted to learn he's mixing exclusively for us on March the 24th. You can hit him direct at myspace.com/Rossi Rosca.
Sonar 2010.
And finally, well, you know the story. I booked Flying Lotus to play at Sonar Festival in 2008 when he was a young emerging artist, and I've been an absolutely passionate champion of his work in the last couple of years. Now on the brink of global stardom, he is the first artist ever to return to headline my stage at Sonar in 2010. And I could not be more delighted. Flying Lotus, the track is titled Computer Face / Pure Being, and it's lifted from the magnificent new album Cosmogramma. That's due to drop in the first week of May on the Warp label, and you can hear his exclusive preview of that record on this show on April the 28th. He and the Brainfeeder crew also taking over Fabric in just a couple of weeks' time, March the 10th. You can find all the details at www.brainfeedersite.com. So Sonar Festival 2010, that's how it's working out. Friday the 18th of June, up on the Sonar Lab stage, 12 midnight till 3 a.m. Myself, Joy Orbison, Flying Lotus playing live, and Rosca. Oh, I cannot wait, I'm so excited. 81199 on the text. Let me know how you feel about that. Or of course, twitter.com/Marianne Hobbs. And remember to check Pete Tong's show on Friday at 9 o'clock on BBC Radio 1 to hear details of the full festival lineup. One more time for us, Marianne Hobbs presents Joy Orbison, Flying Lotus Live, and Rosca, Friday the 18th of June, up on the Sonar Lab stage, 12 midnight till 3 a.m.
I say you are blessed when you're older. I'm not talking about worldwide.
This next from one of Peel's favourites, actually, Turo Kokoro. This is Shackleton's West Green Road remix of a track titled Fridays. It's lifted from the new EP Forwardness Fridays, which you can find on Domino Recordings this week. You can see this crew up at the Queen Elizabeth Hall on April the 23rd as part of the Ether Festival. And their brand new album Speculation drops next week. shout out to Scream and Scandal on the roads at Croydon after watching Instrumental tear up Plastic People tonight. Big shout out to Pete and Stu in Lancaster, Pat Lyon in Greenock, Lee Bassett slogging his guts out on a 14.5-hour shift, Dobie, who's ploughing the snow in Gritting on the Isle of Skye, Benny in Ipswich, G303 out in Northern Ireland, and PJ in Slough. It's great to have you with us tonight. Everybody absolutely freaking out about the Sonar lineup for 2010. I don't think I've ever been more excited. Coming next tonight, something brand new and exclusive from Dorian Concepts. I watched him tear up the BIOS Club in Athens just a couple of weeks ago, and directly after he hit me with this dub plate titled Her Tears Taste Like Pears. Young, gifted, and Viennese. Trust me, you need this boy in your life if you've not come across him before. Absolute dazzling live performer too. Dorian Concepts. Her tears taste like pears. So the next tune I'm going to play for you tonight comes from Blue Daisy and features the vocals of Stack. And I promised that directly after this programme I would pass it to Dev tonight. He met Blue for the very first time last week in London town and asked him for some advice about this track that he's trying to make for us. Blue told it very simply: play from your heart and you absolutely cannot lose. This is a piece of his own work. It's absolutely exquisite and it's titled Only For You.
You jumped in to begin when you found me, but my head was aligned with the boundary. You slipped in, got through anyway. So we made light of our haze, dance that days away, looking for something. Where did we fade? Where did we lose our place? You said it best. You said you never moved this way. Told me I was looking, but still my eyes were only for you. Now my faith is gone, but I'm hungry. Though I can't draw the lines when I can't breathe, still hold on to nothing from you. Ooh, I don't know what you were thinking of when you held me. I don't know where you had taken us. So tell me, where did we fail? Where did we lose our place? You said best. You said you never moved this way. You told me I was lucky, but still my eyes were only for you. So why did it start? And how do we both mistake you for the face? It's hard to miss the way I gave. It's not your fault. I'm trying to find something that's not
MySpace.com/Blue Daisy is up in my top friends at MySpace too. BLUEDAIZE. As I say, this track going directly to Dev right after the show. So it's Marianne Hobbs, BBC Radio 1 Experimental. We are all the way live till 4 o'clock this morning. Coming your way tonight, exclusive mixes from Cooly G and Gonja Sufi, built by the Gaslamp Killer. The first of those mixes right around the next corner. And Orteka are going to take us there. This is brand new and exclusive to us tonight. This lifted from the album Oversteps, which is due to drop March the 22nd. As you might imagine, it's a deeply arresting, completely submersive record. Still trying to coax Rob and Sean into the BBC's Maida Vale studios. I I appreciate that might be a relatively long job, but trust me, I'm going to persevere. D-SHOQUB. That's the title of this one. brand new and exclusive to us tonight. Sounds of Orteca on BBC Radio 1 Experimental. The new album is titled Oversteps and it's due out on March the 22nd. And to celebrate that release, there is a pretty gigantic European tour taking place. British dates look like this: Manchester, Pure, March the 11th. The Rainbow in Birmingham on March the 12th. Minehead Block Weekender on March the 13th. Stealth in Nottingham on the 15th. Glasgow Sub Club on the 16th. Leeds Wardrobe on the 17th. And Brighton's Pavilion Theatre on March the 18th. Vorteca's live shows. If you've never experienced them before, wow, I mean, it's absolutely profound experience. They normally play in the pitch dark. And you know, you can just completely lose yourself in their sound. So it's Marianne Hobbs, BBC Radio 1 Experimental. We're with you till 4 o'clock this morning, and of course remember, you can rewind the show anytime you like. It's up online all week at bbc.co.uk/Radio 1. Our first guest tonight, his name is Ganja Sufi, and I gotta tell you, he has one of the most unique voices I've heard in such a long time. He's based in Los Angeles, and he moves me in the same way as Billie Holiday or Tom Waits. He is exceptionally elusive, which is one of the reasons we had to draft in our very dear friend, our soul brother, low-end theory resident and iconic global DJ, the Gaslamp Killer, to help us make this whole thing happen tonight. Willie G, I am eternally grateful. Ganja Sufi, the sampler mix by the Gaslamp Killer, featuring exclusive unreleased material from 2003 to the present time.
Ganja Sufi sampler mix by the Gaslamp Killer. Lamp Killer. Lamp Killer. Lamp Killer. Lamp Killer. Lamp Killer.
I have to be quick on my feet. Running away all day from a line that's trying to eat. Subdued enough to greet one of my fellow sheep. Living so humbly, sympathetic with harmony. Have you ever seen two lions wearing me? Ego's too big to greet. One ends up in the other's teeth. It wouldn't be this way if they were eating leaves. Oh, how I always pray I was one of your sheep. They don't want me. I know they don't. My reaction. No, baby. They make it fun on me. They make it fun on me. Oh, yeah. They make it fun on me. They make it fun on me. They make it fun on me. Oh, yeah. They make it fun on me. Full of harmony that found the sound like Zion, Mount Zion. I put my heart in this sound, the sound for Zion, Mount Zion. Corpses vanishing, trees whispering, winds whistling, candles blow, cactus swaying, sand dripping, wetness settling, amber roll. Use my hands, use my toes. Why can't you use your own? You stepped on me once again. Let's spread some love, mistletoe. You stepped on me once again. Spread some love, mistletoe.
Breaking bread, making dough, feed the birds, save your soul. Born with wings, angels know. Torn in between a painful road, thorns that stain as your halo. Heaven is high and hell is low.
God,
Cast me in the wind. Blasphemous my skin. Stay with me even though you know that I'm only sin. You're my only friend. Life is what you live. Stay with me even though you know that I'm pretend. I love my friends, my only friends. They're not my friends. Inhale
Pure magic. Ganja Sufi, the sampler mix by the Gaslamp Killer. If you like the sound of that, you need to know there is a brand new album for the Warp label. It's titled A Sufi and a Killer, produced by the Gaslamp Killer himself, Mainframe and Flylow. That's out on March the 9th. Check him direct, myspace.com/Ganja Sufi, and also www.sufisays.com. Remember, if you like the sound of that, you can grab a rewind anytime you like. The mix is posted up for 7 days at www.bbc.co.uk/Radio 1. So it's Marianne Hobbs, the future sound of electronic music, all the way live till 4 o'clock this morning. Our second mix tonight comes from Cooly G. And I tell you something, it's no exaggeration to say that this girl, well, she is one of my favourite people on earth right now. Brixton based, straight talking. Follow her on Twitter if you want a dose of absolute unfettered reality. Twitter.com/CoolyG. She is a fearless producer, forging new sound every day that keeps her way ahead of the baying pack. And she contacted me herself to ask if she could do a mix for the show to showcase some of her new material. I could not be more delighted. Deadly Cooly. Love you.
Cooly G. Brixton.
Yes, Cooly, yes, Cooly. Yes, Cooly, yes, Cooly. BBC Radio 1 Experimental.
future sound of electronic music. Mary and Hobbs on Radio 1.
on Radio 1.
Such a unique, such a defiant girl. Absolutely love her. Cooly G mixing exclusively for BBC Radio 1 Experimental tonight.
Yes, Cooly.
And you know what? Here's hoping that there will be an album from Cooly for Code 9's Hyperdub label a little bit later on this year. That's just me hoping though, you know. It's just how it is. Cooly absolutely flat out on the road right now, passing through Manchester, Bristol, London, Wales, Scotland, Germany, Belgium and Norway in the coming weeks. And you can check full details of all our gigs up at myspace.com/CoolyG. Check her direct too. She's got some fascinating opinions, this girl. Twitter.com/CoolyG. Remember, you can grab a rewind of that mix and indeed this entire programme anytime you like. It's up online all week. bbc.co.uk/Radio 1. And in the meantime tonight, this is a mix from the other First Lady of Hyperdub. Computer J Tool the Beat. Iconica on the remix here. Maintain is the title of this one. It's due out on the Ramp label on March the 22nd.
was the best place, but it's not but upward soon I was in threats, hoping I could have events, stressed it up and I land lost in repetitive sense, astounded by real guns, nothing else had relevance, I didn't stand this is instance, I had no defense, man grabbed her by the waist, touched her on the face, then felt a feeling that was so divine, it traveled through my body, my soul, my mind, I find it hard to explain, my brain, heart beating so fast, can't even maintain.
Bit of a choppy edit on that one. There is, of course, a more explicit version available. Ramp Recordings, March the 22nd, alongside Faulty DL, Mike Slot mixes too. The album Who Is Computer J is dropping very shortly on the same label. And while we're in Iconica's corner, do you fancy another taster from her brand new album? Contact, love, want, have.
The finest in the electronic underground. Online all week at bbc.co.uk/Radio 1.
This track is my personal favourite and Code 9's favourite too, actually. Yoshimitsu is the title. The new album is out on April the 6th, and you can hear Iconica's preview for us March the 31st on the programme. If you like the sound of this, she's up at the Rhythm Factory in London on Friday, and in Rotterdam at Watts with Moxie and Keto on Saturday night this week. Big shout out to Chris HJ, to Alex Inside out in New York City. We got Nicholas Moreira with us out in Los Angeles. The Gisborne crew locked in North London. Bliss and Martin from N16. The Lepers with us. So is the Real Morcus, Concrete Jungle and Disco Attack. Foolish DJ, Takamuku, and the Lucky Muku up in Glasgow. Who have we got on the text? Let's have a look. Shonaval in Bonnie, Scotland, out in Oban. Dan's in Wokingham. The Unit Boys and all the old school Crossbar crew from Glasgow. We got Pigeon Ink with us and Boogaloo Dancer Scott. It's great to have you with us tonight. Iconica Yoshimitsu. And this track, brand new from Recorder on BBC Radio 1 Experimental. You can find it on the flip side of the new 7-inch on the Lo-Fi Funk label. Look for Cherry Coke on the A-sides. This one is titled Butternuts. Absolutely love this. Sounds of Recorder. Check him at myspace.com/REKORDER87. This is Butternuts.
Future thinking, forward music from the electronic sounds.
Marian Hobbs on Radio 1.
And right now we're heading out to Portland, Oregon. Nice. Big shout out to Lady Neil listening live in Patagonia tonight. It's great to have you with us. This the sound of Nice Nice. Jason and Mark from Portland, Oregon. This is a track lifted from their new album for the Warp label, Extra Wow. It's due to drop on April the 5th. And from it, this is New Cascade. So Chris Moyles announced the location of Radio 1's One Big Weekend for 2010 this morning. It takes place in Bangor on the 22nd and the 23rd of May. Hugh Stevens could not be more delighted, I'll tell you. If you hop online, you can check all the details. www.bbc.co.uk/Radio 1. Okay, I just wanted to squeeze this one in before we head out into the dark night. 10:20, the track is titled Globe and it's lifted from the new EP Mountain, which you can find on the High Point Lowlife label. Mountain is the third in a geologically inspired landforms EP series, which span an imaginary journey through the architectural and geographical ruin of near-future high-positional landscapes. I like that. So just in case you missed the announcement a little bit earlier on tonight, Marianne Hobbs presents Sonar 2010, Friday the 18th of June, up on the Sonar Lab stage, 12 midnight till 3 a.m. This is how it's looking. I'll be there, so will Joy Orbison. Flying Lotus is playing live for us, headlining the stage, and Rosca wraps up the show. You know that's going to be absolutely massive. Friday, June the 18th, Sonar Festival out in Barcelona. Check Pete Tong's show on Friday of this week at 9 o'clock to hear the full festival lineup. Big shout out to Vinylism, to Dank, Bridget NZ, to Bethan in Wales. It's great to have you with us. Mr. Primo too. All my Twitter crew. So that is about the size of it as far as we're concerned tonight. Thank you so much for being with us. Much love and maximum respect out to Cooly G, Ganja Sufi and the Gaslamp Killer for their incredible mixes on the show tonight. Remember, you can grab a rewind anytime you like. It's up online all week, bbc.co.uk/Radio 1. Trumpet that sonar lineup from the rooftops as well. Myself, Joy Orbison, Flying Lotus and Roscoe, Friday the 18th of June. You know it's going to be huge. But of course, I can't possibly leave the building tonight without one final little chore. It's time to wake up Dev. Tonight I'm going to do it with the brand new single from Starkey, which is due to drop on March the 8th on the Planet Mu label. He is, of course, the boy who flew all the way from Philadelphia to make a brand new track from scratch over the duration of the show up at the BBC's Maida Vale studios just a few weeks ago, with Rezo on percussion and Annika, who's also featured on this tune, on vocals.
He lost himself in an ocean of stars. Made of neon lights and shooting cars. Ocean swept him around. Stars. Headlights to sun his will. From his mouth I saw a spill. Words he kept close to his core. They burst before they saw.
Morning, Dev.
Good morning, Marianne.
So, there you have it, Starkey in collaboration with Annika, the new single for the Planet Mu label. It's titled Stars.
That was lovely. Now, you see, 2 weeks ago, both those names would have meant nothing to me, but I've learned so much since.
But you know what? They are extremely accomplished as artists. I'm just...